Hello again, everybody. Mostly Sports Talk. I'm Ken Allison, and the guy across the desk from me is Lake Morris, and we're going to talk a little high school football because that's what Lake does. He is the prep reporter for the Anderson Independent Mail. Not just football, but our program mostly is going to be football. If you have something about some other things to throw in, of course, you're always welcome to do that. Well, let's see. Last week, Hannah won.
Yes.
BHP won.
Yep. Pendleton won.
Pendleton won over Chesney, yes.
Wren won.
Okay, 4 of them.
And Powdersville won. So
5 of them.
Yeah, we
won.
had a...
And Westside didn't play.
Westside was off, and... of course, Palmetto lost to BHP, and Crescent they also lost on their long trip to River Bluff. So,
well, that was a 2A school going up against one of the largest schools in the state in River Bluff, a big 4A school down there, and so that is not too bad a thing.
No.
So, the problem with Crescent, and you've alluded to it before on this program, Lake, is lack of depth completely in these 2A and 1A schools.
Yes, and you saw it, or they saw it last week when they were in River Bluff, because River Bluff just has more players. And Hurting Crescent, of course, they had 6 players out, and one of their better players, D.D. Hull, is still battling a nagging minor back injury. So
there's no such thing as a minor back injury.
But
trust me, I know about that.
So it was a game, like I said last week. I was perplexed why River Bluff even scheduled it. But again, Crescent, they went out there, they tried, and this week I believe they are. Let me make sure I tell you right. I believe they're off this week, so they're going to be getting ready to...
A chance to heal up a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to get a chance to heal up before they go through that grueling, what I call the Lakelands 2A, with 4 teams that are very, very good. So they're going to... This bye week could not have come at a better time for Jeff Murdoch's crew.
Okay. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the first one I mentioned. Hannah has absolutely found an offense. Man, and they have found some people to run it.
Yes, they have. Coach Hollis decided to hire an offensive coordinator over the offseason, and so far it has paid off through 4 games. And as soon as I can pull up my Excel file that I try to keep multiple files in, right now they're scoring. They have scored 21, 61, 48, and 45 points in their 4 games so far. The 21 was against Burns. So other than that, that's pretty good. They're hitting right at 49 points a game.
Yeah, that's great.
Through 4 games. Can they keep that going through region play? I think they can.
See no reason why not.
Maybe not 49 points a game, but I see no reason why they can't stay in that 38 to 42 range in region.
Now, in the region, the teams that always give them problems, Hillcrest is there, and Greenwood gives them a problem and has since my lifetime.
Yeah, those are probably the 2 games where I think they're probably going to struggle the most. Greenwood's a little deceptive right now because they played a tough non-conference schedule.
They did this last year, if you remember, and then came on strong. They were 0 for, I think, in pre-conference.
Yes.
And, of course, now Hannah has got to play that good defense across town.
Yes, and Westside has been I've been very surprised with Westside's defense this year.
I think they have, too. That's the truth. I really believe that they've been...
they have given up 27 points through 4 games. Now, granted, Clover, not the best competition, but Lexington's a quality team. That's a quality win. They're back in the top 10 this week. BHP, that's a quality win. And Daniel, they're a little down this year, but still, that's a quality win over a 3A school.
Sure.
So, will the defense continue these low outputs they've been having when they get into region? Maybe, but I don't think they're going to be holding teams to 1 touchdown a game.
They're not going to play the same type offenses that they have run across so far.
No.
because there's a lot of wide open stuff in there.
Yes, they are, and we'll get an idea. Actually, you probably won't get that great an idea of how they are this week because they play Woodmont. Woodmont's 2-2 heading into this week, of course.
And that's region.
Yes, it is. This is the kickstart of their region. Like I said, Woodmont is not a bad team. They did beat J.L. Mann. They've won their last 2 games. They beat J.L. Mann and Riverside. So, again, not the highest quality competition, but still, J.L. Mann's a 4A school. Riverside's a 4A school.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Last time I saw them was in a jamboree. They did not look good at all. So it looks like they may have corrected some things, but we'll see how they are this Friday when they travel to West Side.
Okay, now Hannah is traveling over to Serene Stadium.
Yep, I will be there this Friday.
Former home of the Furman. I don't know if they were the Paladins when they played there. They might have been the Purple Hurricane by the time they played there. I'm not sure because sometimes I kind of ramble. Furman at one time had the Hurricanes. That was their football, and the Paladins were their basketball. I cannot remember their other sports and how they stood. And they eventually moved it all. But they moved out of downtown Greenville to the outskirts of Greenville, and it's not such outskirts now, but it was when they moved out there. But now Greenville has kind of been a mystery to me, Greenville High. I expected more out of them than has happened.
Yeah, I think they're kind of maybe a little bit of a lull right now with their talent pool. But you're right. I thought Greenville was going to be a lot more competitive in this region than they have been so far. I'm not exactly sure what the reason is. There's talent there. They have good coaching. It may just not be clicking right now. And they're also coming in the region in a time where West Side's on the way up. Greenwood's in there. Hillcrest has been on the way up. They are way up. And, right now, Hannah looks like they may be on the way up.
It certainly does appear as if the Yellow Jackets are all of a sudden going to be able to compete in this Region 1. 6 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought so.
No, I certainly did not see them averaging 49 points a game in the preseason with a freshman quarterback coming in. I don't think even the most staunch Hannah supporters would have imagined that heading into the season. But the big question for me heading into this one in their game against Greenville is their defense. If there's been one thing that has maybe been a damper on the season, it's the defense has not stopped a lot of teams yet. They've given up 42, 28, 49, and 38 points.
They've had to outscore, and when they don't outscore, they get beat. That sounds odd to say when they don't outscore, but what I'm saying is in their wins, they've had to outscore because it's small wins,
yes.
Numbers-wise.
Now, granted, Seneca, there aren't many teams that are going to hold them under 45 points this year, not with the athletes they have on that offense. Malden, typically the Hannah-Malden game has been a high-scoring game anyway the past few years. But
Malden's got a good quarterback.
Yes, they do. And they've always had these athletic quarterbacks that give a lot of threats in the running game. But they also gave up 28 points to Wren in a 61-28 win. Granted, you scored 61 points, so you can give up that much. But
yeah, right.
I'm sure all of us would have liked to see that maybe in the 17-21 range there. And, of course, with Burns,
Burns is Burns.
Yeah, even in a down year, they're still good.
Yeah.
And so I think they were encouraged by how they played in that game, but it seems like they may have hit a plateau the past 3 games. So I think the key for them is seeing can they rise up and continue improvement and keep Greenville off the scoreboard a little bit more so that there's not that much pressure on their offense to feel like they have to score every possession. If they do score every possession, coaches are happy with that.
Yeah.
But you never want to be in a position where you feel like you have to score every possession because that, especially with a freshman quarterback, I know he is beyond his years maturity-wise, it seems like, but you still don't want to put that kind of pressure on an offense that is still, I think, trying to find itself and get into a flow of things.
Okay, so now whoever you have next on your list there.
Well, we do have a big game in 3A coming up this week. It's probably one of the bigger ones that we've had this week. It's Seneca versus Wren in Piedmont. Last week, Wren got their first. They kind of bounced back from that 2-game stretch where they just were not playing well, and they beat Pickens last week. So that was a big win for them. Big confidence booster as well for their quarterback and their wide receiver because they beat Pickens 42-12. So big win for them there to start region play at 1-0. Seneca last week got a shutout win over Walhalla 55-0. So chalk for both games. It seemed like key is, can Wren keep their offense going in this positive direction? And can their defense also stay in this positive direction? Because they gave up 110 points in the prior 2 weeks combined.
Yeah.
Then you hold the team to 12. That's a great improvement. Can they continue doing that this week against, with all due respect, a better opponent this week? Because Seneca, I don't see them holding Seneca to 12 points. But can they outscore Seneca? That might be the key for them.
Yeah, that might be the key, but Seneca's got a heck of a defense, too.
Yes, they do.
They got either 2 or 3 shutouts here already.
They have 2 shutouts on the year. Again, that defense is full of guys. Linebacker C.J. Greenlee, 2 defensive backs in Chris Webb and Chris Latimer. They have some very good defensive linemen. One especially, his name is Great Nike Diggs. Just fun to say it.
Right.
So there are a lot of pieces on that Seneca defense that are going to have to, that Wren's going to have to try and exploit with quarterback Jay Urich, running back Nathaniel Eckware, and wide receiver Bailey Rogers.
Okay.
Rest of 3A matchups probably aren't as exciting as they were last week. BHP is going to host Walhalla this week. Again, like we said earlier, BHP got a big rivalry win over Palmetto to start Region 1-0. And Walhalla is coming off a shutout. Second week in a row they've been shut out. So
it's got to be real hard in the locker room and in the huddles when your team has not scored in 8 quarters.
No,
and that's tough.
That is a rough feeling to have.
Yeah, it'll mess up your head.
It can. Will BHP hold Walhalla to a 3rd straight shutout? I don't know. If the defense plays like they did last week against Palmetto, they might.
They're certainly capable because of the number of athletes they have over there in Bearland. They always have athletes.
Yes, they will.
And good coaching, by the way.
Yes, they do. I think after that week 2 loss to Westside, BHP, I think they cranked up the gear a little bit in practice after that to get them ready because they have looked good the past 2 weeks against Pendleton, a quality 2A school.
That's a good school, yeah.
And then, again, coming into a pretty charged rivalry environment with an improved Palmetto team, and they shut down their offense entirely, held them to 6 yards rushing for the game.
That's amazing.
And I believe they had them at minus 30 for the half. Because there were some sacks in there.
Right, yeah, you take away.
There was also a safety as well and a blocked field goal. A blocked point after attempt, excuse me.
Yeah.
So that was the Bear defense was on last week, and I see no reason why they would not be on again this week. Maybe motivation, maybe a factor, getting up emotionally for a game like this, but even so, BHP should still. I think BHP will probably have a victory after they're done when they get to Saturday morning.
Okay.
Let's see, another 3A school. Speaking of BHP and Palmetto, the Mustangs, after starting the year 3-0, dropped to 3-1, 0-1 in the region. They're going to travel to Daniel this Friday, and
there's a team hungry.
A surprising 1-3 Daniel.
Yeah,
they have not been like that since about 2006 or 2008. That's a while, but they got their first win last week over West Oak in another shutout fashion. A lot like Seneca, they're going to face a step up in competition this week when they play Palmetto. Daniel quarterback Ben Batson, though, has been improving steadily through the season.
Now, his father is the strength coach at Clemson.
Yes, and he is one of 3 Clemson football coaches' sons on the team.
Yeah, they always have a lot of those because they're there.
Yes, they